either pass or fail the course. That never worked for us. So our swim school was always based on when a swimmer shows up and they feel safe and they're having fun, then they're learning. And that was the primary focus and goal. And so we started out with that in mind. And then over the years, working collaboration with other swim schools, and my mentor, her name is Melon Dash, she really presented this idea to me about having presence of mind, that you have to have that presence of mind in order to execute the physical skills. Mm-hmm. And so I worked with her for many, many years, teaching her particular program. And then it's been the last couple of years that we've taken a lot of like life coaching kinds of skills that we've really enhanced and created our own program from there. Yeah.
That's amazing. Yeah, like I said earlier, I've never seen something like this offered before, so I think it's incredible. And so for those that aren't located near you, can they just take your online course and go from there then?
Yeah, absolutely. That's really why we developed it. Is right now we're based in the Seattle area, but because we know we have people who fly in for our courses. Wow. And so we know there is such a tremendous need, and that we can't just keep it to ourselves. I had this sort of epiphany many years ago. Pools are hard for us to come by. That's the hardest part of our business, because like we say, we teach in warm water. Mm-hmm. Our local pools, we keep them in the 90s. So it's really warm and comfortable, and it's tough to find a pool that I can heat that warm and has deep water. So right. That's a challenge. But I knew we were teaching something, and we do teach something unlike anybody else, and it's needed. So I said, we can't not do this just because if we can't find the best pools, or if we're not everywhere around the country, how can we give people access to this everywhere? So that's why we put it online, so that you can be in Iowa and do it, or Vancouver. I've got a couple students up in Vancouver who, had been wanting to come down for a long time, and just got super excited when I put it online, and did it themselves. So it was great.
Wow, that's amazing. So what is your vision in the next 5 years with this? What would you like to see happen?
Well, my vision is I would like to see us all across the country, that we have teachers to be able to implement the online program for people. Because we do know we don't really want people going into the deep water on their own, that you really do need to have, at a minimum, you need to have a lifeguard on the deck, right? So we really want to be, we're actually, that's my phase that I'm working on now, is to find small local pools that we can have teachers at, because we do have a training that we can train teachers, and a registration system, so we could put teachers all over the country. Wow. So that's our vision, to be able to have teachers all over the country to implement the online program with students. And then the other really juicy, fun part is my goal is to be teaching in warm tropical places 4 times a year, and meeting students that have been learning across the country, and we meet up in Hawaii, and we take it to the ocean, and we go snorkeling, and we go to the Great Barrier Reef, or we go
that would be amazing.
Yeah, because that's what people really want. They're like, I want to go see this amazing planet of ours. I've been taking these vacations and just been on the sidelines all the time, and I want to actually get out there and do it. So,
right.
Yeah.
Well, that's a great vision. I can't wait to see you do that, because that would be absolutely exciting. Oh my gosh.
It was my greatest sadness, my greatest loss with the COVID closures. We were supposed to go to Hawaii in April, but we rescheduled, fingers crossed. We'll be, we rescheduled for November, so hopefully there won't be a resurgence at that time.
I hope you get there. I hope you can do it.
Yeah.
So how long is your school typically? Not, I guess, well, I guess it depends, online and in person. How long do you think that lasts?
Like how long it takes somebody to learn to swim? Is that what you're kind of asking me?
Well, is there a program for in person, or is it just based on the person's being comfortable enough to do it on their own?
Yeah, well, let's see. So our in-person class, and this is changing again because of the times we're in, usually like our kind of premier class is what we call the Foundation 1 class, the in-person class,
Mm-hmm.
and that meets for 20 hours.
Okay.
And that gives really people a good foundation in which to start with, obviously it's not 20 hours all at once. It's broken into segments, but and that is what we found over the years is the very best, right? That you have a group of students who feel very similar to you and who are moving through the process. So you learn and share with them, and you get that individual feedback from a teacher. And it has we have a talking part and a reading part that happens on land before people even get in the water. So it's that whole combination. In general, we find it takes people like an average of 100 hours to really feel free in deep water.
Okay.
And that doesn't mean like 100 hours swimming with an expert teacher, because excuse me, we really learn how to do something is by doing it.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's about getting out and doing it in a way that isn't making you go into fight or flight,
Right.
so that you can be calm enough to be learning from it. So that on average is about how long it takes people to really deeply have that practice, to not just like, oh, I get it and had an experience, but I get it and have an experience and I can repeat it and keep expanding on it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, how have the results been? Have you had anybody they just couldn't do it because they were just, their fear just overcame them? How do you deal with that?
Yeah. When I'm reflecting back, like in my 18 years of doing this work, I've had 2 people not complete a class.
Mm-hmm.
And because people are, they're ready. And what they find is when they do this method, when they work on the mindset, we say it's 80% about taking care of your brain and your thoughts and your feelings. And when people are open for that and they engage in that, they find such tremendous success that they stick to it. Mm-hmm. The people that I've had who didn't complete, we do a lot of work about really being in our bodies, and that can be really scary. And being in your body, meaning like feeling the messages that your body is giving you. So when you feel fear, right, you have that butterfly in your stomach or tension. We don't ask people to try and make that go away or ignore it, but to really feel it and have presence to it. Mm-hmm. And that can be very challenging. Yeah. Yeah. And we know that. And we only ask people to do that as much as they are willing to do that. We don't want to overwhelm people with that. But I know one of the 2 people who didn't complete, they had a lot of discomfort being in their body in that way. And so it wasn't that, they said, this is great, I can see how this could work, I'm just not ready to go there.
Yeah.
And of course we honor and respect that. Absolutely. Right. Yeah.
No, I can understand that. Wow. what an amazing thing that you're doing for people. Really, I'm just like I'm surprised that we couldn't have done this, or we couldn't have found you sooner.
Hmm.
But I think it's amazing if you could get teachers all over the world to represent what you do, because that would be certainly helpful for so many people. But
Yeah.
yeah, this is amazing. Is there anything that you would like to tell the listeners about overcoming their fear in the water, or any advice, anything that you'd like to share?
Yeah. Well, I mean, I think one is just to know as an adult, it's okay if you feel a sense of fear.
Mm-hmm.
It's normal and logical. Like, you do know as an adult, people lose their lives in the water.
Yeah.
That's a real thing.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's very normal to have that kind of sensation. What we don't want to get stuck in is that's the only way I can relate. Right. And there is another way. And it's about really relating to that fear and getting curious about it. Mm-hmm. And getting curious about, well, what are the layers of things that I need to know and I need to unpack? And there's a lot of misinformation that's out there about what it means to swim. Mm-hmm. We see, when you look at, I mean, like you're talking about in movies, you see the final product, something that somebody's been working on forever, and you're like, wow, it looks so easy, but you really don't know all of the layers and layers and layers that come underneath that. Yeah. And when people teach swimming, they're really teaching at this high level because they're teaching competitive swimming for fitness. But before that is a whole layer of just understanding your body in the water. And teachers missed that because they learned it organically. Mm-hmm. They know how they learned the advanced things. They don't know how they learned the foundation. Right. So, give yourself just a lot of grace of like, yeah, it makes sense that I feel fear. And I just want to get inquisitive and keep digging deeper and deeper and deeper, break these things down smaller and smaller until I find the simplest step that feels right and I can get.
Oh, yeah. Thank you for that. I know a lot of us need to hear that. It's okay. Give ourselves grace, and it's okay to have that fear.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah.
Well, thank you so much, Cori, for being on here today. I know people can find you at your orcaswimschool.com, correct?
They can. Yep. And we do offer, we have introductory course in the membership for free too. So if people just wanted to check out a little bit of it, get a little taste, they can do that there. Yeah.
Perfect. I will add that into the show notes, but I appreciate what you do. And I think it's amazing, and you're definitely called to do this. So thank you for doing that. And yes, thank you so much for being on here today.
Yeah, thank you. This was super fun. I really appreciate the work that you're doing as well.
Thank you.
It's been fun to dig into your podcast and hear your amazing stories of people. So thank you for supporting everyone and sharing stories. It's really wonderful.
Thank you so much. I appreciate that.
All right.
Well, I can't wait to see you on your trips and meeting all your students. And I wish you all the best.
Thanks.
Thank you. Have a great day.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
If you haven't heard about Anchor, it's the easiest way to make a podcast. Let me explain. It's free. There's a creation tool that allows you to record and edit your podcast right from your phone or your computer. Anchor will distribute your podcast for you so it can be heard on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and many more. You can also make money from your podcast with no minimum listenership. It's everything you need to make a podcast in one place. Download the free Anchor app or go to anchor.fm to get started.
Do you need to promote your business? Then podcast sponsorship is a great way to do just that. Podcast sponsorship is a great way to connect with new customers, a new audience, a new range of people who don't know about you. It is also an easy way to increase traffic to all of your social media and your website. If you need to promote your business and would like to be a sponsor of the Truths We